Hello teachers! Do you know that about 90% of teachers around the world are working at home right now? And it also is hard to find strategies, ideas, techniques, and also cope with technology on a virtual classroom. My name is Abdel Jacobo, and join me today. You are going to learn very useful strategies to promote creativity in the online classroom. Hope you enjoy it. Very good then. Let's talk about creativity. Creativity is just connecting things. Steve Jobs once said, when you ask a creative person how they did something, they may feel a little guilty because they didn't really do it. They just saw something. It seemed obvious to them after a while. That's because they were able to connect experiences they had and synthesize new things. I really like this quote, and this is the way we're gonna start this webinar. And also with the definition about creativity. Creativity is, if I ask every teacher or every person, we all have different ideas and different concepts about what creativity is. For some people, creativity might be personality, or probably could be ideas, or producing things, different things, thinking about the box, the ability to express freely, adaptation, etc. Those concepts are correct, and those concepts as well might give us a definition of creativity. But today, as never before, we are seeing creativity as something very important. We have never needed creativity as much as we do right now. And it's because technology. As I mentioned in the introduction, 90% of the teachers are working with technology right now. And it seems to be a problem how to connect those concepts about creativity, adaptation, expression, on a virtual environment. That's why I'm talking about this. A very important question that most of the teachers are having is, technology killing creativity? What do you think about that? We're going to see it. I asked many teachers all around the country and many places, and they think technology is not helping students to develop creativity because they have everything on their fingertips. But let's see, is it true or not? And here we have another very important question. When we talk about technology and creativity, is it about quantity or quality? What do you think? So if we provide our students with lots and lots of activities, are we talking about quantity, right? But is it the right way? Or maybe less activities? And then, what kind of activities are we are delivering? That's a very important question. So we have to think about that. Is it quantity, quality, or both? That's something we're going to explore right now. So we have several questions right now to answer. What creativity is, and also is technology killing creativity? And is it about quantity or quality? And for that reason, I'm presenting 4 aspects or 4 strategies to work with creativity on the online classroom. Curiosity, idea starters, offering choice, and combining ideas. We're going to explore every one, and I'm going to provide with different ideas and techniques you can use in order to promote creativity instead of killing it. How about curiosity? Well, sometimes we don't explore or we are afraid of trying new things. That's why we have this quote here. Replace fear of the unknown with curiosity. That's going to be my first recommendation. Don't be afraid of trying out new things. And when we talk about technology, there's always something new to learn. Don't you agree? But in order to promote creativity to our students, we can have different questions that fosters curiosity. For example, this one. No piece of paper can be folded in half more than 7 times. So if you post this question or send this question to your students through an email or maybe a WhatsApp group, or you post it on your social nets or maybe on the LMS you're working with, how do you think they're gonna find out? Well, they're gonna do it because they wanna know if it's true or not. Maybe you are thinking right now, I had to do it, I had to prove it. So that's curiosity, right? So interesting facts, ideas or questions or statements will make your students to feel curious and explore, and I'm pretty sure they're gonna do it. Try this one, this is very good. Another example, the average person's left hand, that's 93% of the typing. How can you find out? So maybe they're going to keep a journal, maybe they are going to record a video typing, or they're going to be more conscious about the typing they're doing. That's my recommendation also. Invite them to explore, to try new things, because they're going to reflect on this statement and they're going to find out whatever it takes. And if you direct this question through a very interesting activity with a production outcome, it will be very beneficial for your students. Try it out. Another example, it says the short-term memory capacity for most people is between 5 and 9 digits. How can you find out? Once more, your students will be interested in exploring. Maybe they're gonna go with parents or the people close to them and ask questions, and maybe they're gonna create a quiz, a survey, and they're gonna record their findings. So once more, you are promoting curiosity. As you can see, those examples help us to create very engaging and interesting activities to work with your students now at home. So the cure for boredom is curiosity. There is no cure for curiosity. So sometimes we are seeing social media and a lot of people, especially young people, it's like, I'm bored, the homework I'm doing is boring, and also they might feel a little bit frustrated because they are not engaged on what they're doing, not only on school activities at home, but also home activities that they're doing right now at home. So always try to promote curiosity in order to fight against boredom. The next concept we are going to explore is idea starters. What is this concept about? Well, you have an example right here. It says, what should it cost to rent your school for the weekend? Explain your thinking. So you are providing a starter, a prompt. So your students are going to explore, and maybe they can use math in English, for example, right? And they're gonna do math in order to explore, for example, about utilities, electricity, water, about the rent, the building, what is included, and then they have to explain about how much it's going to be. And also it could be for any other thing, maybe home, or probably their favorite toys, or anything they can rent. They have to find solutions and explore options, but also it's very important to explain why they are coming up with this number of that rent. Okay, that's an example. Try it. You can also use variations, but it's going to be very interesting as a prompt, as an idea starter. We have another example. You've been captured. What do you hope this document says? Alright, so, and then you post it on social media, LMS or WhatsApp group, whatever classroom, virtual environment you have. So they just start discussing. Maybe this document is about this, it has my details, personal information, the place, etc. And it promotes ideas and you are promoting creativity, right? And you don't need to be on a real face-to-face classroom setting. You are working online. Another example. This is a social media post. It says, please do not post any photos from last night. And then your students have to tell the story. What happened? Why not? What do you think it was about? Was it a party? Was it something crazy? I don't know. They can come up with different ideas, and you will see how they're gonna start discussion. And once more, you are promoting creativity. And they're using something they're familiar to it right now, social media. Another example. This graph shows the number of breakups through the year according to Facebook. Examine the graph and write one paragraph of relationship advice. Very interesting, and it's true. So they explore the graph, and then they're going to come up with some reasons, and then they had to work maybe in teams or groups, of course on a distance mode, on a virtual classroom, on your LMS. You open a forum and they start discussion. They start talking about this. And one more time, this is our idea starter, and your students are talking about creativity. I have another suggestion. It says, find an interesting photo. You can try Flickrs. The last 7 days, maybe interesting topics. And then you come up with a question, task, or problem that uses this image as a prompt for an activity. And then combine the image and the prompt on a Keynote or PowerPoint slide, depending what you're using. And then send it to your students, right? That single Keynote or PowerPoint slide. And then they're gonna, start thinking about that and come up with a solution. And what is the photo about, etc. This is a very good prompt, a very good idea starter. And below you have more ideas you can look for on the net. So take a picture, or just pause this video and look for those web pages. They are very, very interesting. Very good. Hopefully you are continuous interest on the topic. Offering choice. Well, there's nothing in creativity like allowing your students to take decisions. So I have 2 columns here, teacher's job, student's job. So on your column, you have some verbs about write, communicate, pursue, calculate, present, design, inform, and create. So what you're gonna do is, using those actions, promote your students to create. That's why we have nouns on a student's job, on their tasks. So we have blogs, wikis, Keynote, VoiceThread, iMovie, Comic Live, Photoshop, SketchUp. So you can ask them to write blogs. That's a way of combining and promoting creativity. You can also, for example, use create blogs. Maybe not just to write one, but to create one about a journal, what's happening in the lockdown, so they can start posting their activities every day, or the feelings, for example, towards social emotional aspects. You can use also communicate through maybe a voice thread or using keynotes. What kind of communication is going to be? Or design an iMovie, a trailer of a movie, for example. iMovie has that function of creating movies itself, and also trailers for movies, etc. So making combinations of some actions and then the task, the noun, you will find creative options to work with your students. So try it out and tell me in this video comments box if they work or not. And then combining ideas. It's not only about offering choice, as I previously talked about, and you saw that graphic, but also it is related to combine ideas. So you give choice and also combinations. For example, what did you get? You get a piano and also a typewriting machine, for example. We have this. So if you combine very unusual artifacts that they don't usually belong together, or they don't, you can't imagine that they can work together, they can come up with very interesting and original designs like this one. Or what do you get? You get a cow and a map. The whole word now is, like a cow. So also they had to explain why they come up with this design, for example, and how they move the countries and continents in order not only to get the design, but maybe they can start talking about anything else like economy or culture, for example. So when we talk about this concept, we use some terms like combine, so they can mix, or assembly, services, or artifacts, as I mentioned before. Also adapt, to alter, change the function, use part of another element, like the typewriting machine. Probably now it's gonna play music instead of typing, for example. Modify, increase or reduce in scale, change shape, modify attributes or color, for example. Put to another use, eliminate, like removing elements, simplify, reducing to core functions. Reverse, turn inside out or upside down. And substitution, components, materials, people. Choose those ideas and it's going to be very interesting. Now, this is a workshop to work online. This is a webinar to work online. So I have here some recommendations to make those combinations and offering choices to your students. Talking about images, well, you have several resources on the screen. Flickr, the Commons, the Open Photo Project, Wikipedia Commons, Open Clip Art, Photo Everywhere. So pause the video, take a picture, and explore those resources in order to make those combinations. Talking about audio, CC Mixter, Jamendo, Miss Open, SoundClick, etc. So once more, try it out, research. Remember, you have to try first when we talk about technology. And text information, you have Wikipedia for schools, also Wikibooks, WikiJunior, Freebase, etc. So explore once more and tell me how it goes. Some final thoughts. Very good. Very interesting, right? A lot of strategies, a lot of techniques, and a lot of ideas. I really hope you find them useful. Final thoughts. How do we get creativity from our students? Given something interesting to work on. Given the time, tools, and skills they need. Get out of the way. The less restriction you place on a task, the more creative the response. Make it hard fun. You know what it means. Be ambitious for them, but not too ambitious. Thank you for watching us today. My name is Abdel Jacobo. I work for the Metropolitan English, and you can find me on Facebook and Teach Fun, which I share strategies, ideas, videos, links to support your teaching. As well, you can find me on YouTube as Abdel Jacobo and LinkedIn as Abdel Jacobo Vasquez. It was a pleasure to have you. Thank you for watching us, and I will see you soon. Bye bye.